you have nothing. So, the police are trained to do this. But it's different when you know that they've sucked $14.8 trillion out. That is $5+ trillion more, according to Bloomberg, than they need to pay off all mortgages. And I keep making that point. We go on to the Smart Growth conferences, North American Union, NAFTA highway conferences. We read their documents, and they talk about, they come into studies and they go, we got $100 billion for your town if you turn all the toll roads, all the roads into toll roads, and we're going to do this for your state and that. We have unlimited money. You know why the banks are flushing money and nobody else is? They've cut liquidity off of the public. They've deindustrialized us. They're bragging. It's all planned. In the IMF and World Bank, International Bank of Settlement documents, I wrote a book about it in 2002, Descent into Tyranny. I had BBC reporters on about it. We've had economists on. We've had, the guy that wrote Economic Hitman, John Perkins, who worked for him. It's on record that they fraudulently create a debtor system where there's more debt than there is real currency and real assets. They buy up all the real assets with it and then leave us holding the bag. It's like musical chairs. They've all got a chair. They make sure the people don't. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until we stand up and say no. Okay, look, I'm just going to take calls now for the next hour. And then very important news is coming up on the government-run child kidnapping rings, because this new Obama announcement, they're going to release some new photos. We'll tell you what's really behind that, and we've been right about this in the past. We'll tell you what's really going on and give you the full scope of what we know, and it's so horrible, it's hard to believe. Also, the attacks on free speech and the DHS reports to be used to then deny no judge, no jury, no arrest. I told you, and Homeland Security said this. You're going to be on a no-work list, no-own-a-gun list, no-fly list. The no-fly list is a master list under Patriot Act compliance. They have a criminal list of over 4 million names, 1,100,000 on the no-fly list, the terror list. No judge, no jury, no indictment. Congressmen are on it. Movie stars are on it. On purpose, they won't take you off. They just say, we don't care. If you don't like it, SWAT team will drive by. And, literally. And, it's force. We're going to do this. We're criminal. There's no due process. Ha-ha, we wear black uniforms. We're foreign bankers. We got a bunch of roid heads out of the military. They'll do whatever they're told. They've been kicking down doors in Fallujah. They're here now. You can all day worship the military and love them all day. And I know a lot of people are good in the military and are upset about what's happening. And Ron Paul got most of the donations from the military. And I know that. But they found, sifting through the military people, the scum. Like they're panning for gold. They're panning for New World Order trash. And they got all the sand to them, all the good veterans and military, or the good cops. That's junk. They're going, oh, look at that little psycho, look at that little thug. They're panning in there. Got all that sand going back and forth. Who's looking at? How you pan for gold? Who's that's a good analogy. All right, let's go to. Oh, you want the gold? You want to know where the gold at? Let's do an image search of jackboot. Let's look at who they're. Just Google jackbooted thugs. Of course, Google's shutting everything down. I told everybody they were going to shut down Google Video. They announced it yesterday, and they're now phasing out the user videos on YouTube, putting them on sub pages, and relegating them and banning Patriots, not just my videos, hundreds of sites. Nate Evans, I'm going to tell you about it later. Well, I'll never get the calls if I don't shut up. Nate Evans had given us a director's account. We went and we hadn't used it since he gave it to us a few months ago. We go there and it's gone. He said, yeah, I was uploading your videos. They didn't even give me a copyright infringement. They just said, we delete your account. We're not going to have a director's account belonging to Alex Jones. So we have them red-handed from Nate Evans that did graphics on Truth Rising and on the Obama deception that I've known for 4 years. His family came to the Truth Rising premiere here in town. He's from Texas, but he lives in New York and L.A., works on big national TV shows. And he donated some of those great 3D graphics you see of Obama and others in the Obama deception. And he told me, we should set up Nate Evans and do a show in the next few days with Nate Evans and change the channel and enough respect, some of these cool directors on there. But the point is, just YouTube is out to get us. And you know why? We are hurting the New World Order, folks. I mean, I get on air and I say, they've stolen trillions. They say they're above the law. Here's the congressional testimony with them saying the military kidnaps children for DynCorp slave rings. There's a jackbooted thug. So, I don't know. Let's just go to your calls. I'm going to shut up now. Wilson in New York, you're on the air. Wilson, go ahead. Okay, Wilson's gone. I don't blame him for hanging up. Mike in Wyoming. Mike, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Alex.
Hello, sir.
Yesterday, somebody was calling in asking about the Council for National Policy, and I thought it's worth pointing out that Dr. Stan Monteith at least was a member. I don't know if he still is or not, but back in the 90s, he was listed in their membership rolls for whatever that's worth. The main reason I called, several weeks ago, I emailed Aaron and Rob D. About Dr. Gordon Prather, who I had heard him as a guest on Goyette's show down in Phoenix a couple years ago. He's an excellent guest. I think he used to work at Los Alamos. He's a nuclear physicist. Somehow he was involved with the weapons inspection regime in Iraq before that all fell apart.
What's his name again? We'll write it down. My pen has walked off.
Gordon Prather.
I've heard of him.
Praether, and he'd be a good guy to just find out what is the capability of our government in terms of detecting nuclear devices in case some terrorist device goes off in a big city. Could it have reasonably been expected to have been detected beforehand? He would know that kind of thing, and I'd kind of like to have him weigh in on that issue.
Absolutely. We'll check into that. What do you think about bills introduced that actually say if you hurt someone's feelings, federal felony charge under terrorism clauses? What do you think about open bills saying if the Attorney General thinks you might be a danger, we're going to put you on a no-gun list? That's what I keep saying, because I remember seeing Homeland Security Ridge, when he was the head of it, say that this to work, to live, to own guns, to travel, they're going to have federal checkpoints on the state highways. I remember seeing Bill Clinton's plans. They've been planning this a long time. It's just now it's happening.
They were clearly planning it several years ago when they started writing these or enacting these laws. It says if you threaten a congressman, you're guilty of terrorism. I mean, they knew what was coming up, and they were paving the ground for their antics.
That's right, and they're saying aggressive speech is what that is. Like, you better stop it or we're going to throw you bums out, and the police show up. Remember the news articles, if you search engine the term man visited by Homeland Security for buying ammo. And they usually bury it. I've seen a bunch of mainstream articles in New York and Texas and Illinois and California and Oregon or some of the places, in Missouri of all places. You'll see the articles, and it's never in the headline. Because I'm going to put this in a film, I've been looking these up. It's always in the bottom of the article like it's no big deal. Oh, Bob such and such bought 1,000 rounds of ammo, and Homeland Security visited him and put him on a list. This guy bought 3 guns and got a Homeland Security visit asking if he was a terrorist. They are advertising like you're a terrorist now if you go out and buy guns and ammo as a chilling effect. Well, if we give in to this chilling effect, it's over, Mike.
What I've been doing is calling on these various issues. All my congressional delegation is Republican. We only have one representative here in Wyoming. She's a first-termer. But when I call them, I don't allow them to say, well, she or he voted no on that. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Since they've marginalized themselves by 8 years of apathy, they can vote no, and it doesn't matter because you've got a Democrat majority. So I say you need to be, or Congressman so-and-so needs to be pushing for criminal charges for a Justice Department investigation of Bernanke, of Greenspan, of Paulson, the whole gang.
Exactly. The Republicans didn't, reinstate our liberties and our freedoms and all this when they were in power. They tried the opposite. Now that they're out of power, they can act like they're patriots and fighting all of this. And the litmus test is arrest the bankers. And if enough of us start saying that, they can't get us all, come after us all for doing it. Because believe me, it's dangerous. We're getting a lot of heat for doing this. And I'm doing it willingly. Mike, it's good hearing from you. I appreciate your call. All right, George, Steve, Josh, and others, I'm going to get to you in a moment. I have looked more into this Council for National Policy because I keep getting emails and calls about it, and people saying, I've heard you're part of it, or I've heard Ron Paul's part of it, or I've heard this guy's part of it, that guy's part of it. So I knew I'd heard of it before in association with Blackwater.